Okay, hello everyone. Welcome once again to Speak French Fast Academy and to this very special subject of today, Introduction to Passé Composé. So this is a beginner-friendly introduction to the simple past tense in French called passé composé. The passé composé is a common past tense in French, and it is the past tense form we use to express thoughts like I ate, she slept, we went, she took, they took, you called, etc. If you want to say these things in French, you need passé composé. The rule is that it is formed using an auxiliary verb. Unlike in English, where you just say I and you go straight to être. No. In French, it is formed using an auxiliary verb, either the auxiliary avoir or the auxiliary être, which is to have and to be, and followed by the past participle in the main verb. Okay? Now, past tense formation with auxiliary avoir. To form the passé composé or past tense with the auxiliary avoir, conjugate the auxiliary avoir, which is the verb avoir, first in the present tense, according to the subject, and then add the past participle of the main verb. I'm going to give you some hacks very soon, so pay attention. This is the verb avoir. You should already know how to conjugate it. J'ai, je n'ai pas. Tu as, tu n'as pas. Il a, il n'a pas. Elle a, elle n'a pas. Nous avons, nous n'avons pas. On a, on n'a pas. Vous avez, vous n'avez pas. Ils ont, ils n'ont pas. Elles ont, and elles n'ont pas. Now, to use the auxiliary avoir to form a past tense, whenever you want to say something like I ate, think of it instead of as if you're translating I have eaten. Now, pay attention to what I'm trying to explain. Let me bring it down. In English, there's something called past tense and there's something called past participle. So, let's start from present tense. Present tense in English is I eat. I eat. Past tense is I ate. Past participle is I have eaten. Let's look for another verb. Speak. Present tense, I speak. Past tense, I spoke. Past participle, I have spoken. Now, this is the trick. This is the trick. Whenever you want to use passé composé in French, translate it as if you are translating past participle, not past tense. So instead of saying I ate, so you want to say I ate in French. Instead of translating I ate, translate I have eaten. And that will mean I ate in French. If you can think about this hack for a beginner, this is enough for you to start speaking in past tense. So I'm going to repeat. Whenever you want to say, um, whenever you want to translate into past, don't translate past tense. Translate instead in your head past participle in English into French. So instead of saying I ate, think of I have eaten. Instead of saying I played, think of I have played. Why? Because that would force you to remember that in French you need to conjugate the verb to have first before you put the past participle. That's what this whole grammar means. That instead of saying I ate, think of it like you're saying I have eaten. This way you are reminded to translate the auxiliary avoir before you add the past participle. For example, when you say j'ai mangé une pomme, j'ai there means I have. You understand? By the way, this means both I ate and I have eaten. So you are not even wrong to have to translate that way, because if what you wanted to say is I have eaten, you can also just simply say j'ai mangé. Just that it also means I ate. So in French, this is how past tense is conjugated. Basic. So j'ai mangé une pomme, I ate an apple. Now, j'ai is the present tense of the verb avoir. You know that already? Of the subject je. And mange is the manger. I beg your pardon. Voila. So obviously the er verbs is very easy to translate in the past. So manger normally ends with er, but the past participle, now look at the e. The er has been changed to e accent aigu with the accent going forward. For 99% of er verbs, this is what you need to do. I ate. J'ai mangé. Change the ER to only E, but accent aigu. I played. J'ai joué. I cooked. J'ai cuisiné. The same thing. Just take away the ER, leave the E and change the E to accent aigu. For all ER reps, literally all. Apart from the irregular, aller, I think, and aller is an irregular verb, by the way. Apart from that, every other ER rep, this is how it's conjugated. So simple. All right. So another example is j'ai cuisiné du riz. I cooked rice. Can you see? So you translate j'ai cuisiné into I have cooked. If you do that, that's I have j'ai cooked cuisiné in the past form. Simple hack. So to as parlé is the same thing with every other pronoun. All right. For instance, you spoke with Mr. Casey. You spoke. Remember, you have spoken. So tu as is you have. Then parler in the past form. Tu as parlé avec Monsieur Casey, meaning what? You spoke with Mr. Casey. It's the same thing if you want to ask a question. Just like in English, all you have to do now is to raise the voice at the end, put question mark, in the written form. So, tu as parlé avec Monsieur Casey. You spoke with Monsieur Casey. Tu as parlé avec Monsieur Casey. Did you speak with Monsieur Casey? Look at how everything changed in English, but in French, everything is still the same. All right. Vous avez mangé de la pizza hier. Vous avez mangé de la pizza hier. So this is the vous now. Obviously, vous avez is you have in English in the conjugation of the verb avoir. All right. So vous avez mangé de la pizza hier. You ate pizza yesterday. And then have you eaten? Look at it. So to say have you eaten, first of all, do you have eaten or you have eaten? Vous avez. All right. So vous avez mangé is you have eaten or you ate. To make it a question, just raise the tone at the end in the spoken form, put the question mark in the written form. So because what? Have you eaten? Vous avez mangé? Vous avez mangé. You have eaten. Vous avez mangé? Have you eaten? Elle a chanté. She sang. Elle a chanté. Did she sing? Let's go back to number 3 again. Tu as parlé. You spoke. Tu as parlé. Did you speak? Vous avez mangé. You ate. Vous avez mangé. Did you eat? Very simple. Okay? Elle a chanté Lean on Me. She sang Lean on Me. J'ai épousé. We are giving you the simple forms, guys. All the verbs you are translating so far are the ER verbs because they are the easiest to translate because we want you to understand the concept first. So we want to give you something easy to understand. Then we can go into the complex verbs with irregular past tense later. So, j'ai épousé, that's where we are, l'amour de ma vie. I married the love of my life. Épouser means to marry. Then j'ai is I have. So it's almost like saying I have married. Okay. J'ai épousé l'amour de ma vie. I married the love of my life. J'ai joué au football hier. I played football yesterday. J'ai appelé Monsieur Daniel hier. Are you seeing? Very simple. The verb in ER, you just have to turn the ER to E accent aigu and you have formed past tense. Then look at what auxiliary you need, whether it's avoir or être, and conjugate according to the subject, and you're good to go. C'est bon? Okay. Now, let's go to the things that might be a little bit harder. Honeymoon is over now. All right. So, past tense formation with the auxiliary être. Aha. The past tense that needs auxiliary avoir are more than 95% as far as I'm concerned, more than 95%. But there's a certain 5% or thereabouts, or even less, of verbs that needs the verb être as their auxiliary to conjugate them in the past. All right, instead of avoir. These verbs are often related to movement, like to go out, to come, and a change of state. The past participle would agree, unlike with the verb avoir, with the auxiliary avoir, the past participle would agree in gender and the number with the subject when using être. So these are not very complicated thing. But the good news, there are not many. Now, before we give examples, it's a good news to announce to you that out of the hundreds of verbs in French, there are only 16 verbs you need to go and cram or memorize that are conjugated in the past using the auxiliary être. Not only are they 16, not only is this a good news, the other good news is that I've given you a hack. And this hack, there's a little hack to remembering these 16 verbs. I didn't form it, obviously. All right. This hack is called Dr. Mrs. Vandertrump. Dr. Mrs. Vandertrump. In French, Dr. Mrs. Vandertrump is a rule, or this rule is a mnemonic device used to remember a group of verbs that form the passé composé with être as the auxiliary verb instead of avoir. Each letter of the Dr. Mrs. Vandertrump represents a verb, all right? And these verbs are usually related to movement, like I said, or a change of state. Now, here is the rule along with the corresponding verbs for each letter. So if you look at this, doctor, you can see DR there, signifying a doctor. Each letter is a verb. So D is devenir, to become. R is revenir, to come back. M is monter, which is to climb up or to climb, to go up. Rester, R, which is to stay. Sortir, S in the misses. Sortir is to go out. And notice that for the most part, they have to do with movement, right? So venir means to come, again, movement. That is the beginning of the Vandertrump now. Aller means to go, again, movement, all right? Aller means to go, which is ah. N is naître, naître, to be born. Like when you say je suis né en 1980, it's about weeks, to be born. And then we have descendre. Descendre means to go down or to come down, which is the opposite of monter, which is to go up. Okay. Then we have E, which is entrer. R is rentrer. Entrer means to enter. Rentrer means to go back home. So this is how it is used most times. You run. When someone says you run, means I'm going home. Okay. To your rentrer, have you returned home? Like that. Then T means tomber, to fall. Retourner, which is R, is to return. Arriver, which is to arrive, is A. M is mourir, to die. And P is partir, which means to leave. If you can cram, or not cram, if you can memorize the 16 verbs, you know that every other verb carries auxiliary avoir except these ones. These verbs are conjugated with the auxiliary verb être in the passé composé tense instead of avoir because they usually indicate a change of location or state that is more easily expressed through the use of être. Remember also that the past participle agrees in gender and number with the verb when with the subject, I beg your pardon, when using être. Let's look at example. When you say elle est allée au marché, elle est allée au marché. She went to the market. So instead of saying using the verb have in this time around, we are using the verb to be. Elle est, which is she is. All right. All right. So this is also almost as if you are saying she is gone to the market. All right. However, it is she went to the market. Take note of the fact that the aller there has double E. Don't forget, we said that it will always do what? It will always agree. So that aller has extra E because the subject is a woman. So there's an extra E. If it was a he, it would be ile aller, and the aller there will have only one E. We still have the second one. Okay, L is the subject, er is the present tense of the verb être, and aller is the past participle of the verb aller. Okay, so je suis allé en France l'année dernière. Can you see? Now, you can forget anything, never forget je suis allé. Je suis allé is one of the most common, in fact, it is arguably the most common thing people say every day in past tense. Je suis allé, je suis allé, je suis allé à la pharmacie. I went to the pharmacy. Je suis allé à l'école. I went to school. Je suis allé au marché. I went to church. I beg your pardon. I went to the market. Je suis allé à l'église. I went to church. Don't forget, je suis allé. Je suis allé. Je suis allé en France l'année dernière. I went to France last year. Now, les enfants sont arrivés hier. Les enfants, the children, arrived yesterday. Obviously, if you replace les enfants with a pronoun, it will be il, ILS, which will be ils sont, right? That's why it is les enfants sont arrivés hier. Vous êtes retourné, have you returned? Vous êtes retourné, you have returned. Are you saying? Even though we are using have in the translation, it is the verb être that you're conjugating there because it is part of the 16, okay? Have you returned? Vous êtes retourné? And look at how it is agreeing over there, okay, in gender, which is to say that the person they are referring to is probably a woman, okay? Je suis tombé ce matin dans la salle de bain. I fell. Je suis tombé. I fell. Okay, ce matin dans la salle de bain, in the bathroom. Tu es devenu si belle. Tu es devenu comes from the verb devenir. Okay, tu es devenu. Take a look at how the verb être are being conjugated before the main verbs are transformed into their past participle. Tu es devenu si belle. You have become so beautiful. So the si there means so. All right. À quelle heure tu es rentré hier? At what time did you return home yesterday? I told you rentré is to go back home. To return home. OK? À quelle heure tu es rentré hier? OK? Tu es rentré. OK? Tu es parti sans dire au revoir. Tu es parti. Je suis parti. I left. Tu es parti. Il est parti. Nous sommes partis. Vous êtes partis. Ils sont partis. OK? Tu es parti sans dire au revoir. You left without saying goodbye. So sans there means what? Without. Je suis venu d'une famille pauvre. Je suis venu means I came. The verb venu comes from the verb venir, venir, which means to come. This is the past tense. Je suis venu d'une famille pauvre. I came from a poor family. Je suis arrivé hier. I arrived yesterday. I hope you're learning now. Now, for the regular verbs, this is how they talking about the conjugation of the verbs in the past tense now. For the regular verb ending, what we experienced earlier on, just have to remove the okay. For the regular verbs ending in er, ir, and re, the past participle is formed by removing the infinitive ending, that is the re, IR and ER, all right, and adding E, I, or U. So you add E accent aigu to the ER reps. Manger becomes manger with E accent aigu. To the IR reps, you remove the infinitive ending, all right, which is IR, and just leave I there. For instance, finir becomes fini, all right. So you're just basically you're removing just the last letters. For ER verbs, remove the last letter R, but change the E into accent aigu. For IR verbs, remove the last letter, and that is good to go. For the RE verbs, you remove the last two letters and RE, and then replace that with U. For instance, attendre becomes attendu. Okay, for example, parler, which is to speak, j'ai parlé. Can you see that? Finir, which is to finish, is now tu as fini. Vendre, which is to sell, is what? Il a vendu. Okay, for the irregular verbs, that's the most complicated part. There are many regular past participles in French that do not follow the regular pattern. It is not necessary for you to memorize and the regular verbs, the regular past participles, and they do not that do as they do not follow a specific rule. I beg your pardon. For instance, look at the verb faire. It's a regular verb. As amazing as that verb is, when you say faire, okay, to make or to do, look at the past tense. All right, it's not an RE verb. It's not an RE verb. J'ai fait, I did. J'ai fait. Apprendre is also is not an RE verb. It's an irregular verb. It's just pretend to be RE. Apprendre, which means to learn. J'ai appris. Tu as appris. For example, j'ai appris le français à speak French fast. J'ai appris. Tu as appris. You learned. Dire, also very important verb, but it's not regular. It's to say or to tell. So, nous avons dit. J'ai dit, I said. Tu as dit, you said. Nous avons dit, we said. Okay, this is a long recording because it's a very important. I'm giving you everything about the past tense for an elementary student here. So take your time. This is a video you have to watch over and over and over again because it contains all the necessary elements to you to the foundation of past tense. All right, so let's go to negations. I also added negations for you. How do we use negations in the past? I didn't eat, I didn't come, I didn't sleep, I didn't whatever. To form the passé composé, in the negative, place the no pas in the present. You put the verb in between the no pas, right? It's the same thing in the past. The only difference is that this time around, the verb you're putting in between the no pas is the auxiliary, either the être or the what? The avoir. Simple. So all you have to do is to place the NOPA around the auxiliary verb. So you're simply conjugating either the verb avoir or être in the negative first before adding the past participle. So before they add the past participle, just like in the present where you put the verb in between no and pas, you put the auxiliary in between no and pas. For example, j'ai mangé du riz means I ate rice. So how do you say I didn't eat rice? It's the same thing with saying I don't have. Like conjugate the verb have to have first in negative. All right. So je n'ai pas, you can see the the je n'ai. You see between the no and the pas because what je n'ai pas mangé, I didn't eat or have not eaten. Vous avez joué hier. Vous avez joué hier. Again, the auxiliary conjugated here is avez. So to say that you didn't eat yesterday, you say what? Vous n'avez pas. It's supposed to be vous ne avez pas, but you know why already. No ends with vowel. Avez begins with a vowel. So you sacrifice the e and it becomes what? Vous n'avez pas. So vous n'avez pas joué hier. Je suis allé au marché is positive. Je suis allé au marché, I went. So again, just like in the present, je suis becomes what? Je ne suis pas. And so in the past, it becomes what? Je ne suis pas allé au marché. Very, very simple. All right. I thought you don't have to wait till a long time to learn that. You can learn that even at a beginner. Now, second to the last thing we are doing today is, I think second to the last, yes, is the basic subject and object pronoun combination. Now, in English, a lot of times we will say, for example, I called you, I saw you, I reported you, I played you, all of that. We want to see how we can combine them. All right, I gave you, I told you. So, subject and object combination. So to understand very, very well, you have to understand the rule, even in the present. A lot of times in English, it is I call you, I give you. So it is subject, verb, and then object. But it is reversed in French. It is subject. It is always the object before the verb. So it is je vous appelle. In English, you say I call you. And if you want to do word to word, you will say j'appelle vous or j'appelle toi. That's not correct. So in English, in French, it's as if you are translating I, you call. I, you call instead of I call you. It's I, you call. So it becomes what? Je vous appelle. I, je, vous, you, appelle, call. All right? Now, or je t'appelle. I, je, te, appelle. To there is what? You. Of course, because of the vowel, it becomes what? Je t'appelle. That is present. Now to say I called you becomes what? Je vous ai appelé. Again, very, very simple. The verb, the object comes before the verb. But this time around, the verb is coming before is the auxiliary, not the main verb. The object comes before the first verb, which is the auxiliary verb. Okay, I called you is what? I called is j'ai appelé, je ai. So just put the object in between je and the auxiliary. It becomes what? Je vous ai appelé. I called you. Je vous ai donné. Or je t'ai appelé. It's supposed to be je te ai. So again, the object in between the subject and the verb, je te ai appelé becomes what? Je t'ai appelé. Je vous ai appelé. Je vous ai donné, I gave you. Je vous ai dit, I told you. Je vous ai envoyé, I sent to you. Very simple, right? Look at the examples we have there. So, je vous ai appelé, I called you. Je vous donne is I give you or I am giving you. Je vous donne. Again, I, you give, right? Just have these tricks at the back of your mind. But to say I gave you becomes what? Je vous ai donné. That's je vous ai donné. The object comes in between the subject and the auxiliary. Okay? Which now becomes what? Je vous ai donné. I gave you. Tu m'as dit. Tu m'as dit means what you told me. Tu is the subject. Tu me as is tu as, right? Like you have. Tu as. So you put the mo in between the tu and a because what? Tu m'as dit. It's supposed to be tu me as, but then because of the vowel, so tu m'as dit. You told me. Okay? Elle m'a envoyé. It's supposed to be elle a. Elle a. She has. All right? So in between the elle a, you have the, because we want to say she gave, she sent me. So she is the subject. Elle, the me is the object. It comes in between the subject and the auxiliary. It's supposed to be elle, mo, a. So because of the two vowels, mo ending with vowel a, a vowel itself, you now sacrifice the e in the mo. It becomes what? Elle m'a envoyé. She sent to me, or she sent me. Je vous ai expliqué. I explained to you yesterday. Je vous ai expliqué hier. It's not complicated, guys. It's so simple. Just to practice over and over again because you're going to need all of these expressions when you're speaking French. Okay. Wow, what a class it has been. If I have an advice for you, because this is the introduction to past tense, you have to go through this over and over and over again, dissect it. But this is the last part, asking questions, responding to questions in the past tense. Okay. So it's very simple. It's very simple. Vous avez mangé? So to say you ate, you would say vous avez mangé or tu as mangé, right? That is conjugating the verb avoir and then past participle. So if you want to transform to question, all you have to do is to raise the tone at the end and put the question mark in the written form. So vous avez mangé, which is you ate, becomes what? Vous avez mangé? Did you eat? Oui, j'ai mangé. Yes, I ate. Vous êtes arrivé? This is the verb. This is auxiliary être. Vous êtes arrivé? Have you arrived? Oui, je suis arrivé. Yeah, yes, I arrived yesterday. Tu as cuisiné? Did you cook? Non, je n'ai pas cuisiné. No, I didn't cook. Tu as vu? Voir is what's now? Voir is an irregular verb. So voir. Okay, the past tense is vu. Vu. So donc j'ai vu, I saw. Tu as vu, you saw. Alright. Tu as vu Sarah hier? Did you see Sarah yesterday? Oui, je l'ai vu. Yes, I saw her. All right. Now you will notice that there's an E in front of the view. There's an agreement there. I don't want to teach that in this class because it's a beginner's class. As time goes on, you know why that carries E. Okay. Les enfants ont mangé. The children. Les enfants ont mangé. Have the children eaten? Because les enfants ont mangé is the children have eaten or the children ate. Oui, ils ont mangé. Yes, they ate or yes, they have eaten. Nous avons fini. Have we finished? Nous avons fini. Oui, nous avons fini. Yes, we have finished. And so your task for today is very simple. Translate these sentences into English, into past tense, passé composé, memorize and present. I called you yesterday. I said I am hungry. You have finished. I cooked rice. I ate pizza. I sang yesterday in church. You played volleyball yesterday. Did you play volleyball yesterday? I went to the market. I went out. So this is your assignment for your video report. I hope you've enjoyed the class. God bless you all and see you in our next class.